Howdy, Immortalium here. I just finished watching the first collection of Fairy Tail, which is the first 24 episodes, and, I'm here to give my opinion on it. Now, first of all, what is Fairy Tail? Well, it's so utterly popular online, I'm not sure how you couldn't have, know of the summary of it, but I'll just give it here anyway, just in case. Basically, it's set in a magical kingdom called Fiore, and basically magic is, used by the general populace for very mundane things, like reading or moving objects and all that jazz. But there are guilds, that foster magicians who become really powerful. They spend their whole life, training in magic, taking jobs, making money, etc., etc., gaining fame. And there's one particular guild, one really, the most powerful guild, also one of the most controversial guilds, called Fairy Tail. And that's the plot. And what do I think of this series? I liked it, I enjoyed it, was it particularly stand out? I don't think so, but it was fun for what it was. Okay, so this is a series that I think, first of all, it's very cliche, but it's executed very well. The humor is strong, the animation is very nice, the characters, really kind of resonate off each other really well. So, as a series, first of all, do I recommend it? Yeah, I do, but I'd recommend it at the cheaper collection price rather than the, single kind of 12 episode, releases, because I can't justify spending that much money on 12 episodes, whereas I can justify, spending, £17 on 24 episodes. But let me get into this show a bit deeper. First of all, the main cast, which is on the cover conveniently, so I can just point them out to you. First of all, you have Natsu, who's the pink-haired one. He is the main character, and basically he was raised by a dragon, who, just disappeared one time. He uses a lot of dragon magic, which is, he blows out fire, he's able to eat fire, he's resistant to fire, etc., etc. And, as a lead character, he's cliche, but he's good. He's funny because he suffers from motion sickness, and, but he also has this great sense of, camaraderie with, the other characters. But not particularly original, as I pointed out. Then you have his constant companion, Happy, who's the blue cat. You can't see it there, I don't think, but Happy usually has wings. And Happy is a decent character. Not too much has really been shown of him. He's just basically there for comedic relief, and also to explain stuff. Serves the purpose that he's been given quite well, but as I said, not too much of a spotlight has been given to him. So I can't really comment too much on him. We've only gotten a kind of a small hint as to what his past might have been. Then we have our Lucy here, who's the blonde one, and she's the newest member of Fairy Tail, and she serves this odd kind of function of, she's the new one, so she gets a lot of stuff explained to her, which of course, is explained to us. She's also kind of annoying, because she points out stuff, she gets freaked out by stuff, etc., etc. But she also has this sense of responsibility. She will stand up to things in order to protect people, etc., etc. And, as a character, I like her. She's can be funny, she can be, cool at points. The only thing I have an issue with is that when the characters randomly show up at her house, that she always hits Natsu, which, I guess it's supposed to imply that she likes Natsu, although, I haven't really seen that too much. But she always hits him, and I kind of find that a bit annoying, because, why can't she hit Grey, Anyway, speaking of Grey, Blackhead, he how can I describe him? He's my least favorite of the main characters. He's an ice wizard. He uses ice magic, and because of that, he gets constantly into fights with Natsu, which I find annoying. But I'll go into that more detail with that later. He also has this habit of stripping whenever he gets kind of stressed or uncomfortable, which it can be funny. Although it gets a bit old after a while. Although I'm sure all the girls are mad for him because, he's actually quite handsome. And he strips. And then we have Urza, who's the redhead. And she's a good character. I've heard a lot about Urza. Like, she's apparently one of the, people's most favorite characters in Fairy Tail. I can't see why she's so popular. But she is one of the better characters in Fairy Tail. She uses this magic called re-equipping, which is where she's able to switch out magical weapons and armor and all that jazz on the fly in the midst of battle, which of course gives this great sense of speed to her. She's really fast in battle. She's also really kind of responsible. But she also can be quite goofy because she has such a sense of responsibility that if something goes wrong, she believes that, she must be punished for it and all that jazz. So, as a character, she's good, yeah, I don't see why so many people love her. The main thing I want to say about the characters is that this is a case where the sum is greater than their parts. I really like the relationships between all the characters, except for Natsu and Gray, but before I get to that, like, when, Natsu's talking to Lucy, or Natsu's talking to, Happy, or Lucy's talking to, Urza, they have this great sense of, camaraderie, they constantly, are shooting quips at each other. It's a case where the relationships between them actually do make them better than the actual characters. The only relationship as I said, that I have an issue with is Natsu and Gray. Natsu and Gray, they're constantly button heads, they're constantly getting into fights, and the only explanation that we get is that Natsu is a fire, wizard, and Gray is an ice wizard. That isn't enough of an explanation in my opinion. And, there's plenty of other wizards in Fairy Tail that they could butt heads off of. So I just don't get why they have to get into conflict so often. And I just find it annoying, another thing that I want to point out is that these characters, like, they're about 17. Like, in Naruto, say, when Naruto was button heads off of Sasuke, first of all, Naruto had an inferiority complex, and he was 12. So it kind of makes more sense in that case, whereas these guys are 17, I just think that's immature of them to be butting heads off each other at that age, constantly. Voice cast, I just want to talk about the voice cast for a sec. Natsu is voiced by Todd Haberkorn, and I mainly associate Todd Haberkorn with Death the Kid in Soul Eater. So I had a bit of difficulty imagining him playing Natsu, because Natsu's all muscular and all that jazz, and full of energy and all that jazz. But he actually really hits it out of the park. He, one thing that really benefits him is because Natsu is so kind of, he's played for comedic purposes a lot. But, of course, when it comes to the serious moments, Todd Haberkorn really sells it. So I think Todd Haberkorn is absolutely fantastic in this. Tia Ballard plays Happy. Not too much of a standout. She fills the role, decently. But, and, as I said, Happy hasn't really stood out too much, per se. So she's just there for comedic relief and explaining things. And, she's good at that bit, but, that isn't too much to stand out. Jeremy Lay as Lucy. She really knows the character. She knows when to be cool, she knows when not to be cool. So I think that she's really good as Lucy. I heard that some people don't like her as Lucy. I don't get that. I think she serves the purpose really well. So if you have an issue with her playing Lucy, then you just have a problem with Lucy the character. The guy who voices Gray, Newton Pittman, I haven't heard too much about him. He's actually he hasn't done that much main acting, so I'm actually kind of happy to see kind of new blood in a sense. Now he's not new, like, but he's hasn't really gotten a chance to shine, you know. So I just kind of I like that fact that they're giving this guy who hasn't really had many major roles and they're kind of pushing him out into the spotlight. So and he actually voices Grey really well. It's the character I have an issue with, not the voice actor. So I think he does Grey to the best of his ability. It's just I'm not too keen on Grey. And then you have Colleen Clinkenbeard as Urza. Now, Colleen Clinkenbeard is really good as Urza. It just I have an issue with the fact that okay. First of all, the One Piece cast is all present and accounted for in this. Sonny Strait, Eric Vale, and Christopher R. Sabat all play minor characters, you know, in well, maybe not minor characters, side characters in the guild. Whereas Lucy Christian plays young Natsu in you know, flashbacks. So they're all present and accounted for. Colleen Clinkenbeard, though, Monkey D. Luffy himself, well, actually like female voice actress, but she's voicing Urza. And I find that kind of greedy, just the fact that, you know, you have this one who's already gotten the main role in One Piece, voicing, you know, one of the main characters in Fairy Tail. Now, in fairness, she's excellent at it, so I can understand why she was suited for it. It just, I would have liked, you know, someone more, how can I put it, like, that hasn't had spotlight shone on her so much, to have voiced Urza. So yeah, so in terms of like characters, you know, like I think they're really good when they work together. What else to describe? First of all, the animation. I heard a lot of flack about the animation for like the first, you know, what was it, 48 episodes or something like that of Fairy Tail. A lot of people are saying that it's not too good, but I think it actually serves its purpose really well. My only main issue with it, and actually it's kind of, you know, much less present later in the box set, is the reuse of animation. Basically, in fight scenes, for the first 12 episodes, you're seeing, you know, Natsu, Urza, and Grey, and to a lesser extent Lucy, you know, the same animation, you know, showing off their, you know, killer attack moves. So, and I find that annoying, because I would have liked new animation, even if it wasn't as good as that animation, because I just think reusing the same animation over and over again is lazy and kind of distracting. But it sorts itself out. Like, I mean, while they reuse them slightly later, it's just once every so often. So, you know, I have no issue with just using it once every so often. It's when you're using it again and again that I have the main issue. I must also admit the story. The story can be really fun, but it's not particularly deep. And actually, I have a major issue with the newest story. Basically, Fairy Tail is in combat with Phantom Lord, which is this other guild. They've introduced the concept of Dark Guilds, which are guilds that aren't associated with the guild system, but Phantom Lord is a part of the guild system. Yet, they are the most cliche kind of, you know, villains, which actually we have seen a couple of cliche villains. None of the villains in Fairy Tail stand out, but, you know, talk about Phantom Lord. They're, you know, they don't mind when their own people get, you know, hurt or injured. You know, their people will actually hurt their own people just to, you know, get an advantage in battle. And my other issue is that it was made clear that guild battle, you know, battle between the guilds, is not allowed. Which, you know, and Phantom Lord are really attacking Fairy Tail, you know, and with no consequences so far from, you know, anyone higher up. So I just kind of find that as a bit of a plot hole. Maybe it'll get explained later, but in this box set it doesn't explain it. I just find that kind of distracting. So I've explained enough now because I'm getting close to my, you know, allotted time. So do I recommend Fairy Tail? Yeah, I do. But at the reduced, you know, collection prices, I can't see myself buying, you know, part 5 because, you know, it's too pricey for so few episodes. And they're not even brilliant or anything, they're just fun. For the collection prices, though, you know, I will get it, and I will get the second box set. And, you know, I'll probably get Collection 3 as well, but, you know, it's not a standout series. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and bye bye.